good evening, everyone tuning in from all over the world, especially the US and Canada. Good evening, all of you. How are you guys doing? A big warm welcome to everyone joining us this evening on Facebook Live. Hi to everyone tuning in from Prive USA Facebook. And also, hello to everyone who have joined me today on Zoom. Welcome to yet another episode of Prive USA special online events. At Prive International, we take nothing but the greatest pride in being able to get our hands on the most unique, amazing technology that is available anywhere out there in the world to take it and exclusively bring it and market it to all of us IBOs in Prive International. And today we are joined by the person who is behind maybe the next revolution of success in Prive International. Hi, Pearl, calling in from Malacca in Malaysia. And hi to Matsu Bessel from Japan. Konnichiwa and welcome to our Zoom call today. With us today is a very special episode. Today we're going to be talking about Jaime from the Philippines. Today we're going to be talking about the product Prive International's one of Prive International's latest offerings that has in fact taken the world quite by storm because there's just quite nothing like it available in the world. We are, of course, talking about the OxyTap. And with us to talk about the OxyTap is the CEO of OxyTap, Mr. Wilson Tan. Wilson's extensive experience in the high-tech industry has equipped him, honestly, with a great understanding of technological advancements and their practical applications. Mr. Wilson, we may know him as the CEO of OxyTap, but throughout his career, he has worked in diverse areas, including defense and environmental technologies, where he has honed his skills in problem solving, innovation, and strategic thinking. Over the last 10 years, in the past decade, Mr. Wilson has been focusing his expertise on water science, delving into the remarkable potential of oxygen and water to positively impact human health, well being, and lifestyle. I mean, with the recognition of the immense value of these natural elements, Mr. Wilson Tan has been dedicating his efforts to discovering really novel and unique ways to harness their regenerative properties. As the CEO and founder of OxyTap, Mr. Wilson has spearheaded the creation of the world's first regenerative oxygen nutrition infuser. OxyTap represents a truly groundbreaking solution that combines technology, science, and nature to deliver transformative benefits. By infusing oxygen and water in this specialized manner, OxyTap offers a really unique approach to enhancing nutrition and overall vitality. And I'm so proud to say that under Mr. Wilson's visionary leadership, OxyTap has rapidly emerged as a global leader in its field, and the company's innovative products has through Prive International has garnered such widespread global acclaim for their ability to revolutionize the way individuals are able to approach their health and wellness. Mr. Wilson's commitment to excellence, coupled with his passion for leveraging what is truly nature's resources, is what has positioned OxyTap and through OxyTap, Prive International at the forefront of this industry. With unwavering dedication, Mr. Wilson does aim to empower all of us individuals as Prive IBOs worldwide to embrace really healthier and more fulfilling lifestyles. And through the OxyTap's cutting edge solutions, we envision a future where the regenerative properties of oxygen and water are what are fundamentally harnessed to optimize human well-being, vitality, and longevity. In summary, Mr. Wilson's profound enterprise combined profound expertise in this water nutrition world combined with his entrepreneurial spirit has led is what has led to the creation of OxyTap. a company that is revolutionizing the way we think about health, wellness, and the potential of nature's vital elements. And now in 2024, as Prife International's exclusive global partner, and now in front of all of you, I would like all of us to come together and welcome Mr. Wilson Tan, the CEO of OxyTap. Mr. Wilson, the floor is yours.
Hi, thanks, Mugi. Thanks for the great introduction, and good evening and morning to everyone who has made time to tune in. And really, thank you for your time to just come and learn and to listen what this technology can not only do for you, for your family, your community, and ultimately the world. So basically, I'm going to run through a presentation to you to share about what OxyTap can do. And anytime if you hear me get cut off or it's not very clear, please highlight to me. And also, let's leave the questions to the end. Will be ample time for questioning. Okay, and like I said, I've done this presentation many times, and every time I would add some new elements, some new slides, some new talking points to it, so that not every presentation would be the same, so that you don't get bored by me. And also, we are planning in our Singapore HQ to come up with we'll probably start out a once a month podcast or a live stream to just share about new developments of oxygen and how it impacts health. So make sure you check out our website at www.oxytap.com and to be tuned to new announcements and new information. Okay, without further ado, let me just run through the screen and the slides. Can you see me in the slides? Just do a
Yep,
thumbs up. Yep.
yep,
Okay,
yep,
cool.
yep, yep.
Okay, so basically, today's talk is definitely on OxyTap, and you will understand why this is really changing the world right now, and why you have in your hands one of the most unique product where there is no competition, and yet it's so needed now in today's setting. So as Mugi has mentioned briefly, this is my background. I've been in the defense industry. I've been in the technology, high-tech industry. My previous role was always looking at new technologies in the world or from the world. And also I've delved into water science. And the last 10 years, I've been looking at how water and oxygen improves health. So that's where the foundation and the background of OxyTap came about. As we all know, there's 3 rules of human survival. I think this a lot of us know, but many of us don't realize how critical it is, right? We can survive 3 weeks without food. We can survive 3 days without water, but we only survive 3 minutes without oxygen. So that's the key to health. Food we can get anywhere today. We don't have shortage of food. Maybe lack of quality food, but you still get food. So survive 3 days without water, right? You can't survive. If you don't drink for water for 3 days, you're gonna die, right? And then 3 minutes without oxygen. Oxygen is the most critical. You just stop breathing for 3 minutes. I think you can't last more than half a minute, but for 3 minutes, you'll be gone, right? So in OxyTap, what we do is we handle these 2 critical elements, water and oxygen. So like I shared previously, our body is 70% of water, right? It helps carry nutrients, oxygen to cells, moisten your oxygen for breathing, helps convert food to energy. So there's a very huge correlation between water and oxygen. And if you don't drink enough water, you are not going to absorb enough nutrients in your body. You're not going to absorb enough supplements in your body. You're not going to get cushion in your vital organs when you fall. You will lose your strength to your limbs. It helps absorb. It makes up 75% of your muscles, right? So your muscle will shrink if you don't water don't get readily absorbed into your body. There are a lot of new sicknesses and diseases coming up today, which is basically muscular degenerative. So hopefully with more water and oxygen, it's able to assimilate into the muscles and prevent that. Okay, and water is also 75% of your brain. Just imagine, you don't have enough water, your brain begin to shrink, right? And you would have memory loss, you will have migraine, you have many other stuff. And also regulating body temperature, right? So we know that always when you have fever, you have flu, your doctor, your mother will ask you to drink more water to regulate your body temperature. And so important that it's made up of 83% of your blood. So when you see your blood, you prick your fingers and you see the blood, 83% is made out of water. And also it helps remove waste. Those who are having constipation issue, drink more water with oxygen, it will help you solve that problem. It also composes 22% of your bones. So your bones are brittle, it's because you are also, besides other calcium and other stuff, you're also lacking in water. And it also cushions your joints. This is how important oxygen is, right? Oxygen retards the aging of human cell. In the last 10 years, this buzzword, reverse aging, longevity, science of longevity, all these things, stem cells, how to improve your have long life, right? All this, the basic foundation, the basis is oxygen. Without that, your stem cells will not work. Without that, your cells cannot regenerate. Without that, your body cannot heal. So that's why oxygen is critical to prevent the aging of human cells. Oxygen also helps relieve headache. If you are having very bad migraine, headache every day, try OxyTap. When you drink that double, triple shot, it would actually help you improve your migraine condition. And also tiredness. When you're driving, you are spending long time on the screen. Oxygen is key. You can oxygenate it. You can put it in a spray bottle, spray your eyes, spray your face to actually freshen you. It's better before you go on plane, you can spray on your face. Oxygen boosts the immune system. Later, I'll share more on how it actually helps immune system, and also it supports the breathing of air in case of asthma and allergies, right? So if you're having asthma allergies, oxygen is key. And we have many testimonials of how oxygen actually helps uh, uh, remove the asthma condition on people, right? Our director, corporate affairs director, Mr. Noor, actually got healed when he's drinking OxyTap from asthma, and he doesn't carry his Ventolin around or that spray, right? And this is very key. Oxygen helps in cases of depression. When you wake up in the morning, you feel very depressed, right? Now, because of lack of oxygen, when you sleep, when you snore, the morning when you wake up, don't talk to me, your husband hugs you, you kicks him away and all that. So this is the reason, because you don't have enough oxygen, right? So when you have enough oxygen, it may help your marriage heal. So oxygen improves physical performance up to 25%. If you don't have any oxygen today, you would be at a disadvantage if you are a sports person. If you are, you're doing your marathons or cycling, you'll be at disadvantage. However, if you increase your oxygen levels, you would have that an unfair advantage. What we're trying to solve here, why am I sharing this? And hopefully you can share to the rest of the world, right? What we are trying to solve is not solving your thirst only, right? We're not solving an issue where there is, insufficient water. Today, the whole world actually have access to clean drinking water. The technology of filtration, the technology, I come from the background of taking seawater and transforming them to drinking water here in Singapore, right? So the company I used to work for, we did that. So there are a lot of projects in the Middle East doing that, because once there's insufficient water, we are able to take seawater to convert to clean water. And whenever there's dirty water, there are filtration membranes there who can filter out the dirt, the those issue. And with the onslaught of mass manufacturing, that has already brought the price down. So global water crisis is not really there. We are able to get fresh water. However, we are treating a bigger issue which is not being spoken about, is not being talked about, which is a global oxygen crisis. So hopefully, by educating you, by educating your downline, your salespeople, we are taking this world and we are changing it by changing its oxygen climate. So there is a global oxygen crisis today, right? If you look at the world, when the world first started, we had 30% of oxygen in the air, right? And they actually tracked that since 1992 till 2020. You could see there is a global drop in oxygen from 1992 to 2020. So just imagine the oxygen levels of the air is dropping. We assume that 21% is in the air. 21% of oxygen is in the air. However, when you are when you are in the forest, that's 21% oxygen. But when you are at home, when you're in air conditioned place, where you're in offices where there are many other people in there with you, oxygen will begin to deplete, right? So we are not having enough oxygen, and this is a global crisis. Just imagine right now, we who are adults are facing this. What happened to our children and our grandchildren and our grandchildren's children? Oxygen would continue to deplete at our current stage. So if what we are treating today with OxyTap, we are not treating your thirst. We are not a water dispenser. We are not a water filtration system. We are an oxygen supplementation system where we use water as a delivery mechanism into your body, so that when you do not have enough oxygen, you are able to increase it naturally just by drinking. This is a study done in Tsinghua. It's a Chinese research team, right? They've revealed that there are emerging risks of declining oxygen levels in large cities. And they did do a measurement. Cities with population of more than 5 million, oxygen are dropping rapidly. So as long as you're in a city, you are lacking in oxygen, period. Be it in Jakarta, Beijing, you're in Las Vegas, you're in LA, California. As long as you're in a large city, with traffic, with industrialization, with all those stuff, your oxygen is declining. We all know this, right? In the last 4 years, we are now living in a so-called post-COVID, but not entirely post, but we're still in COVID. And the COVID is mutating as we speak, right? So there is a lack of oxygen due to COVID pandemic. And that's the issue today, where when you have a healthy, if you look at the top screen, you have healthy alveoli in your lung. This is the one which actually takes in, absorbs the oxygen and passes it into your bloodstream, right? So if you're healthy, you're infected by COVID virus, the mucus it's a reaction in your body. So you have mild or moderate COVID, mucus will begin to fill up your alveoli. If you have severe COVID, the mucus will fill up your entirely alveoli and you're literally drowning on dry land, right? And a lot of times the doctors today, in the past when they had COVID, they use mechanical ventilator. What mechanical ventilator is, they force air into your lung to help you breathe. Just imagine if your lung is like this in severe cases and they force oxygen into your lung or air into your lung, your alveoli will burst because it's all clogged up, and then you will die, right? So this is where, when they stopped using mechanical ventilator, because they saw many people dying when their alveoli is filled up with mucus. Okay, so those who have gotten COVID today, you've recovered. You said you have recovered. Remember, the lung is your only source of oxygen, right? If your lung is infected, your oxygen is cut off. If your oxygen is cut off, you don't heal, period. So the key thing is oxygen equals healing. Lesser oxygen, lesser healing, or slower healing. No oxygen, there is no healing in your body. And if your lung is the only source of oxygen today, you would not heal, or you heal very slowly. So that is where we come to the next area. Those who have gone through COVID, we are now in the area of a long COVID era, right? Where people have so-called recovered from COVID, but their lung is already impacted or scarred by the COVID virus, right? And this scarring is almost permanent, because if you don't have enough oxygen, you don't heal. And because of that, right, many of us today, post-COVID, they are getting mental issues, anxious, depression, sleep problem. A lot of them are turning to substance abuses, right? So you see some of the issues I've seen videos of those happening in States and all that, right? They are like zombie land, we call them, right? People are just walking around aimlessly on fentanyl and all those drugs. It could be a post-COVID era give us rise to depression, and people are turning to drug, right? And substance abuse. Nervous system, stroke, headaches, memory problems, smell problems. These are issues when your oxygen is impacted. You have a higher chance of getting stroke. In Singapore, and I personally know some people in their 30s who actually dropped dead suddenly or had stroke. My own immediate family, I have a nephew and a niece in the last 2 years. They are in their 30s. They have major stroke, right? So those are things which is happening the last 2 years. Many people are suddenly, and young people are getting stroke. It could be the virus, it could be the vaccine. No one knows, right? But if you look at the trend, people in their 30s are dropping dead. Recently, in Malaysia, there was a 17-year-old Chinese badminton player who just fell dead while in tournament. You can catch the video online. He fell dead while playing badminton in a competition, also due to heart heart attack. Right. So a lot of our young folks after COVID are just falling down dead due to strenuous exercises. Right. Uh, Memory problems. So many of you after COVID, find that you can't remember as well as you had before COVID. Obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, these are things which are increasing. Constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux. Post-COVID, a lot of them are getting this. Hair loss, rash, also coagulation disorders, blood clots are happening. Just like how you are flying long distances, you get blood clots. When you are after COVID, you seem to have more and more blood clots, right? So this is dangerous. Chronic fatigue is a very common issue. Everyone getting chronic fatigue, low energy, anemia, low red blood cell. All these needs oxygen to improve your health, right? Muscular joint pain, muscular weakness. We have a customer who brought in his friend who has weakness on the right leg for more than 3 years when she gotten COVID. She lost the feeling or the sensation or the strength in her right leg when she had COVID for 3 years. And how later I'll show you a video of her, how she recovered from that just by taking OxyTap in 15 minutes. Kidney issue, acute kidney injury, chronic kidney disease. Singapore has a rise of CKD or chronic kidney diseases. Respiratory cough, shortness, chronic cough. You suddenly feel that you're coughing more frequently. You can't breathe well enough. You're always short of breath. There's low blood oxygen you can measure your blood oxygen and it's low always. Acute coronary diseases, heart failure, palpitation, arrhythmia, all these are things which are increasing. So what I'm showing you all this is that these are things potentially when you meet people, you go out there and they say, hey, I've gotten this issue, I've gotten that issue. Potentially, OxyTap can help them, right? These are all causes of low oxygen. This is also happening in aging. As long as you are celebrating your birthday, right? Aging is something which would come and your body cells cannot absorb the oxygen necessary to, for cells, for regeneration, for, all the other motor, muscular movements and all those stuff. So those are things which will begin to happen when you age because you're not getting enough oxygen. Let me explain to you why, right? So this is what we mean by oxygen in aging, right? The partial pressure of blood begins to drop over time, right? When in the chart, it shows that in your in your 20s, your partial oxygenation level is this high, about 97, right? As you go lower, older, at 40s, your partial pressure oxygen begin to drop. 50s, 60s, and finally in the 70s, and then 80s and 90s onwards. So what does this tell you? That means your oxygen level depletes with age, right? And because it depletes with age, right, you literally drop your immunity. Like I told you, oxygen helps in immunity. It helps your muscular condition, your brain health and all that. So when you actually age, you don't die of old age. You die of the lack of oxygen. Okay? Remember that you don't die of old age. You die due to the lack of oxygen. So what if today I can increase oxygen back in your body? What if today I can give you that supplement and you are able to increase oxygen in your body? You can reverse the aging process. You can still have that motor muscular condition, your movement, your coordination, all that will be better. So this is what I mean. But when you talk about aging gracefully, this is with OxyTap, you age healthily, right? So we talk about aging. What about birth? There's low oxygen at birth also. If the mother is not well oxygenated and the baby is in the womb, oxygen deprivation, hypoxia or reduced oxygen to the brain can cause long-term disabilities and developmental delays, right? As fetus. But again, let me just share with you, we are promoting a, a supplement. End of the day, for pregnant ladies, they have to still ask their doctors whether this is good enough for them, right? Because in pregnancy, it's very complicated because there are so many conditions. What I'm sharing with you is some of the issues linked to pregnancy if you don't have sufficient oxygen as a mother. But end of the day, the decision is left to the patient and the doctor who recommends it. Okay, so we are just sharing with you what are the conditions which during birth, if you do not have enough oxygen, if the mother is oxygen deprived or low in oxygen, right, which is hypoxia, there is a reduced oxygen to the brain and it can cause long-term disabilities and developmental delays to the baby, right? So fetus to mother, carbon dioxide, urea, and hormone comes out. Mother to the fetus gives it nutrients, oxygen, antibodies, vitamins, H2O, right? Water. So just imagine if the mother don't have enough or sufficient oxygen, the baby is not getting enough. I have a customer recently, I didn't uh, say anything, they experimented on themselves. They are drinking OxyTap water, right? And during pregnancy, The husband gave the wife OxyTap water, OxyTap supplement, and when she drank it, she measures every day. Her oxygen level is 100% SpO2 levels. Even when at the delivery ward, it was 100%. And when the baby was delivered, the doctor measured, he took the picture of the baby. The reading was 100% as well. And it was a successful delivery of a baby girl. And that is how a mother transfers oxygen to the child, right? So just imagine if the doctor today is prescribing you iron pills, vitamin C, folic acid, and all these things when you're taking. What about oxygen supplement? What do you have for oxygen supplementation? So think about it, right? So low oxygen can cause long-term disabilities and developmental delays. Anoxia is a term for no oxygen reaching to the brain, which ultimately can cause disabilities and even death. This is lack of oxygen at birth. Birth, as asphyxia is like you take a plastic bag, you cover your head, right? And then you don't breathe, right? So birth asphyxia occurs when there's a lack of oxygen and blood flow to the brain, and the amount of damage this causes depends on how long the infant was oxygen deprived, how low the oxygen levels are, and how quickly the treatment is started. Right? So oxygen is very critical in every aspects of your life. So don't underestimate it. There is an issue which we are trying to solve, and that's oxygen deprivation the whole world is going through. So don't talk about babies, let's talk about adults. If you lose conscious, 30 seconds of lack of oxygen to your brain, you lose consciousness. 1 minute, your brain cells begin to die. 3 minutes without oxygen, there's a lasting brain damage may occur. 5 minutes, most will die. 10 minutes, lasting brain damage. And 15 minutes of no oxygen, there's literally no survivability. Okay, that's how critical oxygen is. Just let me share with you, many of us travel on flights, right? This is the effects of hypoxia on the brain using fMRI. This is normal in oxygen dispersion of your brain. When you fly, your oxygen level actually shrinks or reduces. So that is why oxygen is so critical. And just to share with you, right, how oxygen is so critical and how literally the lack of oxygen is going to cause issues in your life. We study or we zoom in to people who are working in low oxygen environment. When you work in a low oxygen environment, you are always in the state of hypoxia. And once you are in a state of hypoxia or no oxygen, you manifest diseases and sicknesses begin to manifest. So to be able to study that, we zoom in on people who work in low oxygen environment. And one of that environment which we know of is air travel, right? Health issues related to air travel. A lot of people feel tired after flight. Your body undergoes dramatic changes once you're in the air, right? There are some recent studies, which have characterized the science behind the changes and offer clues why you feel so different on and after flight. So 15 psi is if you're in a high building, but when you are flying, it drops about 12 psi, right? And the gas expands in your body, because your body expands, right? Ear pop, belly pain, you get cold symptoms when you're flying. And typically when you just recently go through a surgery, or you have a fractured and the doctor puts a cast on you, the doctor will not recommend you to fly, right? Because why? The wound potentially may rupture or tear, right, due to the pressure, or the cast may be expanded in the air. How many of you, when you fly and you wear slippers on board, in flight, when you put in your slipper or your foot, you actually feel that your foot has grown bigger, right? So those are issues which the pressure in the cabin is affecting you. This is what happens when you fly, right? Your oxygen level is at 97 when you take off. and it gets the lowest when you begin to sleep. And then when you land, it begins to get back to normal, right? So many of you say, I don't fly. Do I really, my oxygen, does it get low? When I'm awake, I measure it, it is high. I don't need oxygen 97. What if I tell you that even when you sleep, only your wife knows you're snoring, right? A lot of us, when we snore, due to due to, let's say, overweight, obesity, or even the wrong sleeping position, you will be choked during snoring and you will snore, right? If you snore and you measure yourself during snoring, you could start off with 97, very similar to flight. But when you snore, you will drop to many a times it drops below 90 because you're snoring, it restricts your airways, you're having very low oxygen. And many of us sleep 8 to 9 hours. Just imagine 8 to 9 hours of low oxygen below 90%. That is where all the issues of hypoxia begin. Okay. After you wake up, you don't feel refreshed at all, right? Because you have a 8 hours, not good sleep, not restful sleep, but snoring, your oxygen levels drop below 90. That's where hypoxia happens. And hypoxia is the cause of 60% of the world's sicknesses and diseases today, right? And if you have that, diabetes will begin to form, potential cancer issues, eczema, gout, all this begin to happen, right? Because just imagine 7 to 8 hours of low oxygen at 80 over percent when you are snoring in your sleep. Then when you get up, slowly your oxygen level goes up. Then you measure, you say, hey, my oxygen level is okay. I don't need supplement. But during your sleep, you're actually worse than flying. So, okay, let me share with you long flights, potential of blood clots. Remember previously we mentioned about long COVID issues, blood clots is frequent. So this is the same. When you fly, right, for more than 12 hours in a flight, 5% of high risk patients may experience a blood clot. Just imagine out of a plane of 100 people, 5 people may risk blood clotting. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about. Those people who work in a low oxygen environment, these are the people. It looks glamorous when they're flying the air. It looks glamorous in their, they're all very young, they're healthy and all that. But they are exposed to low oxygen because of their job nature, right? So pilots report about twice as many cases of skin cancer than the general population. And these are statistics in the US, right? This is the general population of skin cancer, the top one. And then pilots have a 2.03% of getting that skin cancer. Cabin crew is a 2.12 times more chance of getting skin cancer. Just imagine that pilots have a twice the higher chance of getting skin cancer. And compare this to the pilots and the cabin crew. How come the cabin crew has a higher incidence than the pilot of getting skin cancer? Because the pilot literally is sitting there flying the plane while the cabin crew has to move around, exert energy in a low oxygen environment, and the incidence of cancer increase because you are needing oxygen, but there isn't oxygen. You are going into that state of hypoxia while you're serving your clients and passengers on board. And that's why they get a higher incidence of cancer. Right. So flying and breast cancers also increase. The ladies, flight stewardess who are flying, they have 2.27 of skin cancer times. Non-melanoma skin cancer, 4.09 times chance. Breast cancer, 1.51 times more than the general population in getting breast cancer. So this is not to scare people in applying for flight attendant or pilot as a career, but if you want to do that, make sure you have OxyTap with you. COPD is also a huge area today. It's a progressive lung disease, right? It makes it hard to get air into your lung, right? So COPD is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. People in advanced stages of this literally have to carry an oxygen tank around with them, right? And what happens is that their air sacs are damaged or collapsed, right, in the tube, and that the mucus is also produced. So if you're coughing a lot, do go for a checkup to see what stage of lung issues you may have, right? These are the symptoms: shortness of breath, fatigue, wheezing, and coughing. And you can only find out if you visit a doctor and you blow through this, or you suck in through this spirometry test, right, to determine whether you have COPD. These are some of the risk factors, Cigarette smoking causes 80 to 90% of COPD cases. You say, I don't smoke, but your husband smokes or your wife smokes, and you get secondhand smoking, you would be also at risk. Habitual smoking can inflame the linings of the lung airways and make the airways lose their elastic quality. Indoor air pollution from biomass, cooking, firewood, exposure to certain dust. So if you're cooking a lot, you're also exposed to that, right? Chemicals in the workplace, cleaning chemicals, toilet, a lot of exposure to that, potential of COPD may come. Heating in poorly ventilated areas is also a cause. So COPD is a global health problem. Okay, the WHO says that it will be the third leading cause of death worldwide by 2030. It also affects the economic and social aspects of individual, as it can limit him or her from doing extensive work. Research is also taken from Philippines. COPD is one of the 10 leading causes of death in the Philippines. One of the 10 leading causes of death. It is a prevalence rate of 14% among Filipinos aged 40 and above. And out of this, only 2% of the cases are diagnosed by doctors, right? So a lot of them do not know until it's too late. Okay, so we all know, right? Low oxygen equals tissue hypoxia, and hypoxia is caused by aging, stress, pollution, and diseases. And all this is the foundation is due to the lack of oxygen. And these are all the symptoms of hypoxia. You're restless, you have headache, you have confusion, you have rapid heartbeat, you have rapid breathing, you're always anxious, difficulty in breathing. And of course, you go into extreme hypoxia or low oxygen, your heart rate slows down very badly, your fingers turn blue, you have extreme, restlessness. Now let's go back to this, and this has to be clearly explained to your friends or people who are trying or trying to understand this, right? What are we trying to address here? We as people with more knowledge, right, has that greater responsibility to share, right? It may sound credulous at first, but when you break it down to biology and science, people will begin to understand the importance of oxygen as a nutrient. Oxygen is forgotten as a nutrient. People assume that there is ample oxygen in the air and we don't need a supplement for it. And that's why I shared so much earlier that there is a lack of oxygen in different phases of our life, right? And this is so critical. Our cell, right, has this thing called mitochondria in our cell. The mitochondria is the key to producing energy, which is called ATP, right? Mitochondria is like your power generator, and power generator needs fuel to generate electricity. Okay? So basically, it needs fuel like glucose and oxygen to generate energy. If there's insufficient oxygen, glucose we can get anywhere through food, or sweet or whatever, right? We get glucose. But once there isn't enough oxygen, your energy levels will drop. Okay, so if you don't have enough oxygen, your ATP or energy level is only 2. But if you have sufficient oxygen, together with glucose, you're generating 32 ATP, which is high energy. So when you are low in energy, it's 2. When you add oxygen to it, it goes to 32. So that's the difference between chronic fatigue, when you're very tired and fatigued, and you drink OxyTap, it goes up to 32. So that's the difference between being more energetic, more energy level by just adding oxygen into your cell. And why is this energy so needed? It's so critical, right? Cells need high energy, ATP, for many functions to carry out normal cell functions. We see this term at normal cell functions as very insignificant, right? But if you don't have enough oxygen to generate ATP, which is the energy, which the cells need to carry out its normal cell functions, what happens? It turns abnormal. Abnormal cell functions is the cause of many new sicknesses and diseases in the last 10 years humankind is experiencing. One of it, which is very prevalent here in Singapore, is muscular dystrophy. There's no cure today for muscular dystrophy. What does it? Muscular waste. Your muscles begin to waste, begin to shrink, begin to just waste off from your body. Science do not know why this happens, right? But this is all due to abnormal cellular function. Cancer cells, its normal cells with the lack of oxygen mutates into abnormal cell function to become cancer. And now there's a huge prevalence of chronic cancer, new type of cancer, new type of variant of cancer. Cancer which is so chronic, they call it aggressive cancer, which no medical treatment can help, right? It's all linked, the basis is linked to low oxygen. So when you begin to have sufficient oxygen, your cell will perform normally, which prevents 60% of the world's sicknesses and diseases, right? Repair of cell after injury. If you fall, you can heal easier. That's why some elderly, when you hold them, you carry them, you release your hand, you will see bruises on their skin, internal bleeding, because their lack of oxygen and their old age, their cell cannot reproduce fast enough and they can't heal fast enough, right? So just imagine you have sufficient oxygen, you're able to age gracefully and healthily, and you will not be reliant on anyone. Keep the cell young and alive, you still look young, you still look healthy, you still look good, right? Fight infection. Like I said, you don't die of old age, you die of the lack of oxygen. The older you are, the lesser oxygen you have, immune system drop, you catch whatever sicknesses and diseases which is around you. The same thing for people who are going through chemotherapy. If you're going through chemotherapy, your body immune system drop. Why? Because your cell is not functioning well. Your cell is not functioning well, it's not absorbing the oxygen, it doesn't have the immune system. And energy is needed to remove cancer cells. Not only to remove cancer cells, also to prevent it. By the way, just let me drink a bit more of my OxyTap supplement. Okay, I'm not the one who said that cancer cells, lack of oxygen causes cancer cells. Dr. Otto Warburg is a biologist and Nobel Prize winner in medicine. He says that cells can turn cancerous if deprived of oxygen for long periods of time. That's what I mentioned earlier, right? If you don't give a cell enough oxygen, it will turn abnormally into cancer cells. All normal cells have a requirement for oxygen, but cancer cells can live without oxygen. This is a rule without exception, right? So just imagine if you have not enough oxygen, your body cells is already weak, right? Because there's not enough oxygen to generate ATP, which is energy. So you're always weak. So your body cells is very weak. When you don't have enough ATP or energy for cells, your cells mutate to cancer cells, and your cancer cells will form in your lowest oxygen part of your body. So when your organs, wherever has the lowest oxygen level, cancer will begin to form there. Once you begin to form there, you go and see the doctor. The doctor say, hey, you got cancer. Your cancer marker is very high. You need to go for chemotherapy. And they prescribe like 8 sessions, 10 sessions of chemotherapy. Just imagine you are already very weak because your cancer, your normal cells is low in oxygen, right? So your normal cells is no more performing normally. It's a weakened cell. And because of that, your chemotherapy is poison. As you take it, it enters your body. All your weak cells will die. Your cancer cells, which based on Dr. Otto Warburg, which says all normal cells have a requirement of oxygen, but cancer cells can live without oxygen. In fact, I'll change that word. Cancer cells thrive very well in low oxygen environment. So your body is already weak. Chemotherapy goes through, it kills all your weak cells. Your cancer cell is the strongest. It will be the best to survive in a low oxygen environment, right? So you die because of the chemotherapy poisoning, because it's poisonous, instead of the cancer. That's why I recently heard of someone I know. January, she collapsed. From out of the blue, she collapsed, discovered that she has 4th-stage breast cancer. Immediately, they brought her warded her in the hospital. For 4 to 5 months, she didn't come out from the hospital, and they've been treating her aggressively for the cancer, chemotherapy. In the end, June last month, this is a friend I know, passed away due to the chemotherapy, not because of the cancer. The chemotherapy, her body became so weak that it just gave up. So if you know of any friends and family who has this, give them OxyTap, that their weak cells will become stronger, that whatever treatment they are going through, they are able to survive better, be it natural way or chemotherapy. Their cancer cells are able, their normal cells or weak cells become stronger. They are able to be more immune to the viruses around them. A lot of times people who go to chemotherapy, right, they become very susceptible to sicknesses or flu or any viruses in the air. That's why they go around with masks whenever they are going through chemotherapy, right? But if you include OxyTap in their treatment, their immune system would improve. And this, we have many cancer patients who buy our product, by the way, right? And that's what they tell me, that, my mom, who used to go for chemotherapy every month after chemotherapy, when she goes for her monthly checkup, she will catch whatever bug is in the clinic, and she has to go back to see the doctor again to treat that bug, be it flu, be it cough, be it cold. But now after taking OxyTap, she doesn't need to go back to get treatment for that flu because her immune system has increased, right? We have many testimonials on this in a young kid who went through final stage brain cancer, 8 to 10 years old, two major brain operation. Immune system is very low, but after OxyTap, he doesn't catch the viruses, even though the whole family was down with flu, right? So that is testimonial of how oxygen improves immune system. Currently, this is the only way to enhance tissue oxygenation, right? Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This is very popular. Excuse me. It's 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 been around for more than 70 to 80 years, right? It used to treat divers, burn victims. The last 10 to 15 years, scientists have found ways to improve brain health, uh, restoring memory loss, bringing people back from coma, healing body injury, cancer treatment, improving sports and athletic performance, all using hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And the key thing again here is hyperbaric oxygen therapy, right? For those who is a proponent of hydrogen water and all that, you never see a chamber which is hyperbaric hydrogen therapy, right? If you put hyperbaric hydrogen therapy, you are not building a healing chamber, you're building an execution chamber, right? So for those who are constantly drinking hydrogen water, think about it. Oxygen is the key to healing, not hydrogen. Okay, so coming back to hyperbaric oxygen therapy, when you enter the chamber, you're low in oxygen. You enter the chamber, the oxygen goes up. When you step out the chamber, by the time you reach the door of the exit, the oxygen level will drop as per when you enter the chamber. If you go through a hyperbaric chamber and you measure your SpO2, very most you get a 1 to 2% maybe increase, right? 1% maybe, 1 to 1.5. But if you drink OxyTap in 10 to 15 seconds, depending on how low your SpO2 is, the jump can be as high as 10 to 1 to 2%. So the lower your oxygen level is, when you drink within 10 to 15 seconds, you can see the oxygen go up. So for us, when we advise people or people especially with sicknesses and diseases to drink every hour or half an hour, sip 100 ml of OxyTap, their oxygen levels will boost up. And then the whole idea is to keep the body oxygenated throughout the day so that oxygen increases your immunity. Oxygen helps you fight back the sicknesses and diseases that you are able to sustain good health. Okay, so we are able to increase 10 times faster by breathing, right? So when you drink OxyTap, your oxygen gets absorbed 10 times faster in your cell. It gets absorbed 6 times higher in your liver than breathing. Okay, so like I mentioned, your aging, you have issue. When you age, there's no oxygen. The world has a declining oxygen level. COVID causes you to lose oxygen or do not breathe enough. Long COVID, those who have sustained COVID are having issues. Even baby relying on mother, lacks of oxygen. So when you say you're a lot lack in oxygen, doctor always say drink more water and all those stuff. But even your drinking water has low oxygen, right? So fresh water is full of dissolved oxygen and is in the range of 8 to 20 parts per million of oxygen. So we talk about fresh water is always between the range of 8 to 20, right? Oxygen dissolves in surface water due to the aeration action of wind and waterfalls, right? It's fast moving stream as a byproduct of aquatic plants and photosynthesis. Unfortunately, today, the whole world, right, is producing bottled water. We don't have access to fresh source, fresh stream, right? So the whole world is accessing to bottled water. I just came back from Middle East. Everyone is drinking from bottled water, from offices to homes, right? So this is very common. Philippines is also very common. US is very common. However, shelf life is 2 years from a date of manufacture. Dissolved oxygen leaves the bottled water once you bottle from source. So once you bottle it from, let's say, a French brand, you bottle it from France, right? It could be 9 ppm. By the time they ship to you, it will have dropped to 7. You keep it for another few months, it will drop to 6 to 5, right? So after 8 to 12 months, oxygen in the bottled water is less than tap water. Low dissolved oxygen in water makes the water unhealthy and stale. So none of this is fresh. Don't care what price you pay for it. Don't care what bottle packaging it comes in. Don't care how many pH level it is. Oxygen is key to healing, right? If you go to a supermarket today, you will see the whole world is selling you stale water. No oxygen equals stale, right? So they don't put the label there as bottled fresh water. There's no fresh water, no oxygen, no fresh water. So you will not see fresh water. So this is where the summary of what I mentioned, natural water 8 to 20 parts per million. You bottle from fresh, you bottle it from a fresh source, you send it, it will drop to about 7 to 6 plus. The longer you keep, it drops lower. Tap water is about 6.5. Most of the households have filter. The better your filter is, the lesser oxygen you're going to have. And then when you boil, the whole world drinks boiled water to make coffee and tea. It will drop even more, right, to almost 0. OxyTap take all this source water and one press we got 25 and to 45. So just to show you, this is some of the brands we have measured. This is bought fresh. Okay, and 7.74, this is 7.73. Even expensive brands, right, uh, are getting low oxygen. Volvic's about 8, Dasani about 7, right? And this is OxyTap. One press, we go up to 26. And then you can do a double or triple shot. So if you see, there is no competition in our world, right? Evian, Fiji, Volvic is all low. One press, we go up to 26, which is like slightly higher than the freshest mountain water available. When you take this out and you show people, right, there is no competition in our space and there's no doubt ours is the highest. And when it's the high oxygen, it's talking about the freshest water. Everyone today is wanting more and more fresh source, right? They want, would you buy orange juice and pay premium price if it's not freshly squeezed, right? You will say, freshly squeezed orange juice bottled last week. It's an oxymoron. You cannot have freshly squeezed and it's bottled last week. When you freshly squeeze, you want to see it before you. You want to even smell the citrus spray which is coming out from the juice when it's squeezed, and then you want to drink it fresh. And that is where OxyTap is. We are giving you the freshest oxygenated water, higher than any in the mountain spring. So we are solving the oxygen crisis with OxyTap supplements, right? We are not here to quench your thirst, right? We are here to solve an oxygen crisis. What do you mean by solving an oxygen crisis? Let me give you the analogy, right? When sailors started sailing, right, in the past, they used to travel from continent to continent, and many a times this would take months to years traveling from one continent to another continent. They normally load up their food, and then they will dry their meats, right? They will not have fresh vegetables in the sea, right? And when they travel, many of them are not exposed to fresh fruits and vegetables. And they came up with a disease, or disease began to form, called scurvy. So scurvy was very prevalent among sailors until the world came about with vitamin C. Someone discovered that by taking the lemon, scurvy began to go away, right? So now you don't have, unless you're very malnutrition, that's why you get scurvy. But or else you don't hear of scurvy very frequently now, because with a vitamin C shot or pill, you're able to eradicate that, right? Today, even some viruses, which is prevalent today, they give you a shot of penicillin was discovered, and penicillin was administered, right? And then we don't have that issue anymore. Same thing, 60% of the world's sicknesses and diseases is linked to low oxygen. If we are able to supplement our body naturally with oxygen, 60% of the sicknesses and diseases would go away. This is what we're trying to do, right? Could we potentially have the cure for cancer? Could we potentially have the cure for diabetes? Could we potentially have the cure of eczema, right? Just by increasing oxygen back into your body naturally, just like how scurvy was taken care of, with medication. The other thing was also in some of the Scandinavian countries, they have very long nights and very short days, right? They have a vitamin D deficiency until they discovered if they've eaten oil from cod fishes, liver, they don't have that deficiency. And that's where cod liver oil came about. And they don't have that vitamin deficiency now because they have a supplement. Today, we don't have a supplement for oxygen. That's why 60% of the sicknesses in diseases is manifested in the world, right? So that's why if we are able to introduce oxygen naturally back into your diet, potentially those diseases will be gone, right? So this is where we are trying to solve in OxyTap. This is our technology. We are able to refresh. One press, 3 minutes, we refresh it, right? And then it brings the water back to the highest oxygen level. Double shot, it re-energize you. The oxygen goes even up to 30 ppm, and you drink it, you get naturally high energy. 3 shots, you go up to a higher energy level, and also for sicknesses and diseases, you go up to 35 ppm, where people who are suffering from sicknesses, diseases, flu, low immunity can drink 3 shots throughout the day. So this is our technology. We are regenerative. We make our own oxygen. We have multiple applications, and we literally, it's a factory in a box. A lot of times, or up to now, oxygen water is not new. It's been around for more than 50 years. But all oxygen water has to be manufactured in a factory, put in a bottle, and shipped to you. That's where the oxygen starts to deplete, just like the regular bottled water. But we are the first in the world which able to put a factory or the tabletop and generate fresh for you, right? And it's constant. It's high oxygen. That is where our efficacy is, right? So when you Google oxygen water, right? You Google oxygen water, everyone will tell you oxygen water is a fake. It doesn't make sense. You know, we can't get oxygen from drinking. A lot of what they said is true, okay? Because oxygen water, or what they have tested with, oxygen water which has been produced in a factory. By the time they test it, oxygen would have dropped tremendously. So we are not selling you oxygen water. We are selling you oxygen supplement. Why? Because our machine, one press gives you high oxygen in 3 minutes. The rest of the bottled water, oxygen deteriorates over time. Ours, the more we press, the oxygen increases. So we are supplementing the oxygen in the water. We are like a capsule, like a vitamin capsule. The capsule has no value. It's the how many milligrams you put of vitamin C in the capsule which has the value. You can have 50 milligrams. The price is different. 100 milligrams of vitamin C in a capsule is different. 150 is different, because we increase the concentration, right, in the capsule itself. Here in OxyTap, we use water as the capsule. It has no value to us. So we are not here telling you how well we clean the water. That is a old technology. Today, we are saying we take clean water. We don't have issue with clean water. You give us clean water, we use that clean water like a capsule. And based on the dosages we give you, the oxygen will go up for different applications. So we are only one in the world who does that. Nobody else can do this, right? So we are dispensing through dosages, different functions to refresh you, to re-energize you, to revitalize you with OxyTap. Okay, so we fast generate, we self-generate, and we stabilize the oxygen. Okay, so this is we are one of the fastest in the world, because one of the reasons why this machine is so highly priced is because we use platinum and titanium alloy in our oxygen generator to generate pure oxygen gas, right? If ever there is a competition in the future and they are able to reduce price, then you have to check with them what sort of materials, precious metals they're using to do that, because we have to use precious metals to generate high oxygen. If you use any other inferior metal to generate oxygen, the other gases are produced which may kill you over time rather than heal you. Okay, so we self-generate, we stabilize the oxygen. So the other technology, yes, you can generate a lot of oxygen, but can you stabilize it? A lot of them generate less than 5 minutes, it's gone back to flat as per normal. It's just like soda water. You open it, put on a table, it goes flat in 5 to 10 minutes. Ours stabilize 24 hours in room temperature cap. If you put it in a fridge and you do it chilled, right, it can last more than a week. So we are the only one who has real world results. None of them in the world has this. We are able to increase oxygen in your blood just by drinking in 15 seconds. This is an elderly lady, about 80. Her oxygen level is about 94. After 15 seconds of drinking OxyTap, we measure her. She goes up to, from 94, it goes to 98. And while it's still circulating in the body, it went up to 99, right? We are the only one. You can see the lower your oxygen is. If ever you were to do tests on people, right, choose the older one. Older folks, generally, the oxygen is very low. So when you measure, you drink it within 15 seconds, the oxygen can be shown. There is no supplement in the world. You cannot go to a pharmacy to buy a pill, which you take it and pop in your mouth, and your oxygen level increases like that in 15 seconds, let alone 1 hour. So like I said, even if you go to a hyperbaric chamber, it probably increases maybe 1%. So this is where this lady had the issues with the right leg after COVID. And then when we treated her for 15 minutes with OxyTap, right, her strength came back. This is what we do in Berlin in last year. So for OxyTap, right, we are featured on the world stage, right? We are representing Singapore technology when we go on world stage. We're under the Singapore Pavilion, where they showcase around the world in events, right? Singapore technologies. So this is one of the showcase we were at IFA. IFA is like one of the largest electronic show in Europe, and we showcase how we can remove pain with oxygen to treat them, right? Because oxygen and reduces inflammation. Inflammation is the one which causes pain, right? So all this we have treated them. This elderly man is at our roadshow. He came. He drank our water. He bought the machine. Within 1 week of drinking, his doctor took him off high blood medication. Previously, when he sat down and he stood up, he was dizzy because of high blood. After OxyTap, high blood was relieved, right? So he came to thank us. He brought his whole family. His sister also bought our machine. So if it kills someone, nobody talks about price anymore. They talk about their benefits, right? This is done in CES this year in January in Las Vegas, where we also represent Singapore. This is a testimony given by a longevity expert. He analyzes product for longevity, and he says that he increases his oxygen by 2% in just 10 to 15 seconds. This was this Inc. magazine, one of the so-called interviewer, is very famous online looking at health products, and he featured our product because it helps increase his oxygen in 10 seconds. So we are on the world stage. We are talking, we are featured in events, we are featured in world stage. How many network marketing companies' products are representing their country, right? So this is where we are at. So this is what we've done, tests in Israel. SpO2 is good, but TCPO2 measuring or tissue oxygen meter is the best. This is 4 tissue oxygen probe, one to the heart, one to the left hand, one to the right hand, one to the left leg. So we show how that oxygen from the blood can absorb into the tissue. This is important because it promotes healing, right? So this is what we have done. Baseline with no water, we measure the left heart, left hand, right hand, and the left leg. So you notice here, SpO2 is the one on the finger. Even when you drink, right? Some people say, very common, 98%, it goes up 99%. My SpO2 is already 98, 97. So after drinking, it goes up 1 to 2%. They said, oh, that's not, when I'm 97, 98, I drink, I don't really need the oxygen level. It's only 1 to 2% jump, and I'm paying so much for a machine. Actually, the real test is in tissue oxygenation, where you can see dramatic results, right? And for SpO2, unless you are very low and you're old, your oxygen level could be 84, it could be 85, and after drinking, it jumps up to 94. So that's a very dramatic jump. But if you're a regular, you're a normal human, you adult, there's no issue. Normally your oxygen level about 96, 97, right? But the real test is in the tissue oxygenation, which they can't see unless you have a meter, an expensive meter like this, which measures the tissue oxygen. So you notice SpO2 98, he drinks it, it increases to 99, and the maximum is 100, and then slowly it goes. And not many people can reach 100% oxygenation without OxyTap. So for this column here is the heart area, the tissue oxygen went up 48.1%. after drinking. The left hand went up 18%, right hand went up 22%, and the left leg went up to 10.6%. So this experiment or trials we do actually show that oxygen is penetrating into your tissue. That promotes healing. So if you don't have oxygen in your tissue, you cut yourself, it will not heal. So diabetic foot ulcer would heal. People with severe ulcers would heal. Anything which have not been healing would begin to over time heal, right, in your body. So this is for diabetics. We have this meter and we tested on a 70-year-old man. This meter enters your skin. It measures 24/7, whatever you eat, all the sugar spikes throughout the day. And he wore this for 12 days, just taking his normal diet. And then on day 13, we introduced OxyTap. Immediately, his blood sugar dropped. And for 16 days, he takes OxyTap. His blood sugar is low. After that, on the 17th day, when we take back our machine, his blood sugar went up. So it shows that just by drinking OxyTap without any medication, it drops by 10 to 11%. Okay, so this is done on cancer cells. I just run through relatively fast so you can have some questions later. It's done in Monash University. This group drinks, 10 mice drink oxygen water, and we inject a cancer cell there. Okay, this guy drink tap water. So the group which drinks oxygen water, you notice the cancer cells don't grow on the left. The right is the tap water, the cancer cells grew. Okay. The blue one is the tumor cells grow. Those who are drinking regular tap water, the tumor cells grew. Those who drink oxygen water, it's not as high. By the way, this experiment uses oxygen water, which is less than 5 to 10 times lesser than our oxygen concentration. So if OxyTap were to use this experiment, this will be much better. The one on the right is tap water, the tumor increase. The one on the left, oxygen water, the tumor don't really increase. The signal on the right, cancer cell signal more active. The one with oxygen water not so active. Okay, just very quickly, sports, as we all know, when you run, you consume more and more oxygen, and then you go from aerobic into anaerobic metabolism. You have high lactic acid accumulation, and then you go to fatigue. So fatigue is caused by high lactic acid accumulation in the muscle, right? If you drink enough oxygen water, it increases hydration to the muscle, reduces lactic acid accumulation, improves your race as well as your recovery. So less pain. We've got many personal gym trainers who buy our product for training as well. So this is another experiment we did. We want to show that, by drinking oxygen water, another drink tap water, after 7 days, we extracted all their blood because oxygen is carried in the blood, right? And you will take out all the blood, no oxygen. So when there's no oxygen, your muscle will produce lactic acid if your muscle itself is not well hydrated and not well oxygenated. So you notice the one who's drinking tap water, when we reduce all the blood, the lactic acid produced very high. The one on the right, drinking oxygen water, when you remove all the blood, lesser lactic acid is produced. So what does this mean? When you begin to exercise, less lactic acid is produced rather than just by drinking tap water. So less lactic acid improves your stamina as well as your after race or post race recovery. So these are all the multiple applications we can have. It helps in hangover. It helps you recover from a night out, right? Because when you drink any alcohol, acetaldehyde is produced in your blood. That can only be removed through oxygen. Sports, I mentioned earlier, it reduces lactic acid. You can sell this in schools, offices, and gaming resorts. Many a times when you sell and they put it in their pantry, people drink it. More and more people drink it, they would come and buy from you. In one office we sold to the office, we got five to six new customers from that office. because all of them, they drink, they want to buy it for their family members. Beauties, health, wellness, health spa, skin regeneration is huge. Like beautiful skin, slows aging, lines and wrinkles. So increases metabolism rate. We got some customers who lost 5 kg just by drinking for 3 weeks. But it's all, like I said, dependent on individual body, right? Prevent pain and diseases. That's where we can help reduce inflammation and pain would stop. Okay, very quickly now, we have cleared the slides. Now we're open for questions.
That's fantastic. It's a great presentation. We have quite a few questions in the chat. Maybe I can go through them from the top and we can take all of them.
Sure.
All right. So first question from Mary Chua. How often does one need to drink oxygen infused water?
If you, okay, so if you have the machine, you drink it every day, right? So because
Mhm.
a single press, a single shot turns your water to the freshest mountain water available. So you're drinking a single shot throughout. All your water to do a single shot and then you drink that throughout. If you're very tired that day, just do an additional 1 shot and you drink that water for alleviating your tiredness. If you're feeling sick that day or anyone in your family is sick, do a triple shot and let them have that water. So you go from a water which is consumed every day through a single shot to a Red Bull equivalent in double shot and a triple shot if you are feeling sick or very lethargic and yeah. So that's where the formulation is.
All right, cool. Is there a maximum ppm that a normal water can hold?
There's okay. Unfortunately, the meters today, conventional meters, don't have the ability to measure how much concentration of oxygen we can bring it up to, right? So give you an example. Whatever we are measuring now is room temperature water. A lot of times you use room temperature water and you do 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. But if you chill the water to be very cold, like 11 degrees, 12 degrees, and you maximize that because cold, you're able to concentrate more oxygen. The colder it is, it can keep more oxygen, right? So when you keep it cold and you oxygenate a few times, you take a meter and you measure, it will max out. The highest meter we have is 50 ppm and it maxes out 50 ppm. So there is no really a limit so far we can see if you chill. So you can play the variant. The cold water, number of times increases, the oxygen level will be more concentrated. So right now it's more than 50 ppm. We can bring the oxygen level up. And like I
Okay.
said, right, there's no need in the past because the whole world don't know or not promoting oxygen as a supplement. So in the past, they just use it to test water quality. And water quality, they test maximum 15 ppm, 20 ppm. They thought that was great, right? But now we're moving to higher ranges for health and wellness.
Maybe these two questions together. How long
Mm,
will the OxyTap supplement last in the body? And can we add OxyTap to hot water? I think you
mm,
may have answered the second already, but still.
yeah. So it lasts. You drink it, it lasts like maybe an hour. Your oxygen level will slowly deplete, right? I mean, I've seen tests which last up to 2 hours, but preferably 1 hour would be a good. And then the best is every half an hour you take a sip. Every time you sip, oxygen goes up, right? So you just bring it, carry it around with you, sip, and it goes up, right? So that is how it's like taking a bath, right? Instead of taking a bath or vape, right? You take a sip of OxyTap. It's very healthy. Yeah, so it will last as long as you're sipping it, it should last half an hour to an hour. I'm talking about high concentration. Yeah.
Right. Understood. And Gary, yes, this presentation, would you be making the slides available, Wilson? Just checking in. Quite a few people have asked for it.
The slides they have okay, so there's an official price slide. The one I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing is always changing, so I'm just
Mm-hmm.
adding to it. So mine is not for circulation.
Okay. We do have a copy of the price slides available that we do update very often based on Mr. Wilson's slides as well. So those would be available for sharing. Can we keep it in the bottle? Yes. The question about OxyTap servicing, I will refer you to customer service. How long does oxygen last in oxygen infused water? Mr. Wilson just answered that. Here's one. Is there any possibility of hyperoxia when drinking too much oxygen supplement? How much is the ideal, so to speak?
Okay, so there you will not have hyper oxygenation because we are going through our gut. This is a different pathway than your throat. I mean your nasal lung passage. That's why we call ourselves oxygen supplementation. We don't take over the primary. The primary is still the lung, right? We supplement what when the lung is not functioning well, we supplement what the lung cannot give, right? So those with COPD, they are still breathing through the oxygen concentrator. We supplement whatever they cannot breathe in, and we supplement that. Uh, you will not have oxygen toxicity because when you drink, your stomach is used to your stomach, your gut is very tough. It's used to very acidic. It's used to different things, right? You can take chili through your through your gut, but you can't breathe chili. You try breathing chili and you try eating chili. There's two different things. Oxygen toxicity is the same. When you breathe too much oxygen, like oxygen concentrator, it may give you oxygen toxicity, but we are drinking it, you will not have that.
Okay, cool. Understood.
Mm.
To Alan Merlin Bucko, regarding your question about OxyTap servicing, you should please do reach out to Private Customer Service. We have a WhatsApp website, we have an email. Reach out to us and we'll be able to help you with that. There's no specific customer service support person, just reach out to customer service.
Can you
Or
put
if
can
you
Mugi, can you post
Sorry?
the link to the customer service for
Yeah, the
people?
customer service email,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
email.
I'm gonna get the link shortly and I'm gonna share that. Here's a question from HBW Bokdet. How about liver inflammation that's malignant for someone who's in palliative care? Can OxyTap help even such extreme cases?
You see, many a times in extreme cases, right? Okay, first and foremost, OxyTap is not a drug, right? It's a supplement, right? And you need to drink it over a period of time. And like I said, all of us are biologically very different, right? Definitely, if you have liver, it works very well because how OxyTap works, right? If you drink it, oxygen gets through your membrane, enters your gut. Your gut transport this to your portal vein. Portal vein is one of the largest vein entering your liver. So if you drink high concentrated OxyTap, right? Okay, so for those of palliative care, sometimes they are not able to drink a lot of water. You can concentrate high oxygen dosage. That means you let them sit, but it's high concentration. Especially those who are going through dialysis, they also cannot take a lot of water. They only can take like few ml per day only, right? A normal adult should be 2 to 3 liters per day, but for those going to dialysis, only maybe 250 ml for the whole day. That's their limit. So palliative care, I suspect, would be similar. They cannot be taking a lot, but you can concentrate high oxygen in dosages and you let them drink. The oxygen would enter their gut, goes through the portal vein, which is the largest vein delivering blood, which goes directly into the liver. And from the liver, it goes to your heart and the heart distributes out. So for liver health, OxyTap is actually delivering high oxygen from your gut to your liver immediately through the portal vein. So it should help bring down the inflammation. And if it's malignant already, right, it takes time. So I do not know. All of us are very different. It should help some way, but if it's able to You see, the problem is many a times when people say you got cancer, they may lose the will to survive. The key thing is you need to encourage them that don't worry, there is a way out. There's always hope. Don't give up hope. People lose hope. Even if you give them the best medicine, they if they give up hope and they're not willing to fight, they would lose their life immediately. But even we have a source which can deliver oxygen. Oxygen can help in preventing the spread of cancer. It can help in treating, it can increase her immunity that she don't catch the sick, the flu around her. It can improve her energy levels so that she don't feel bad the whole day. As to reversing the condition, based on what I mentioned, overall improving those conditions, it may help her have a better chance of survivability. But to whether reverse that is really dependent on the person and the patient. Yeah.
Understood. Here's a question from Facebook. Big shout out to everyone listening in live from Facebook all over the world. We have quite a lot of people tuning in on Facebook as well. Here's a question from Facebook. If a person experiences occasional rapid heart rate,
Mm-hmm.
is it still okay to use OxyTap or to oxygenate their body? Or maybe generally, is there like any precautions from for people who should be looking out before they drink OxyTap water?
Actually, rapid heart rate, right? Give you an example. Some folks, right? I have an aunt who is elderly. She's bedridden, right? And and when you give her a little glass of oxygen water, even a single shot, right? She drinks it. She's worried because suddenly her heartbeat beats very fast because she's not moving around, so her blood flow is very slow, right? She's not exercising. Suddenly you give her a small dose of single shot. She says no. I cannot because my heart beats very fast. It's not that it's bad for you. It's just that you suddenly have your energy level starts to increase, your heart beat faster. It's just like doing exercise, but you're bedridden, right? So for heart palpitation, you can try with a single shot. You can first dilute it first, right? You dilute half, or even do instead of 3 minutes, do a 1 minute shot and then time it, do a 1 minute shot, pass to the one, and let them try and build up the concentration over time. Oxygen over time will cause the heartbeat to be less what I call less fast. Because why is it fast? Because your heart is not pumping enough oxygen for the rest of your body. So the body is causing it to beat more. But once you have sufficient oxygen over time, your heart would be able to regulate, the oxygen through your body. So those are things which you have to test it out yourself. In everything, as like I said, right, when single shot, it goes up to 25. The freshest mountain water is 20 ppm. We are giving 5 ppm more than the freshest mountain water, right? It's very safe. Just imagine if you're drinking the freshest water on this earth and it causes you to die, then we should stop drinking water. So we are, one shot is 25. That's the safest. Try that, right? And then as you want to do it more, you just slightly add higher. So that's the beauty about technology. We can concentrate different dosages, which suits you, which suits your family members. Yeah.
All right, cool. We're getting a few questions about the maintenance of the OxyTap and the
Mm.
procedures for that. For all technical questions regarding maintenance and the procedures for maintenance, I do urge all of you to ask your questions to customer service so we can advise you on how the process is from Thrive's side. But Mr. Wilson, do you have anything like general to say about the usage or the maintenance time of the OxyTap?
Generally, the machine lasts about 10,000. One single shot, right? We call it a shot, is 3 minutes, right? The machine should last 10,000 shots before servicing, right? So it's just like your car mileage. You drive 100 kilometers or 2 years or something like that, or 1 year, you know. So we give it a lifespan before it's serviced, 10,000 shots before you send to service. Some
Okay.
customers refuse to do that. They want to prolong it, or they don't know it's 10,000, just carry on doing it. So so-called a rule of thumb is 1 to 1.5 years. If you don't know how many shots, right? 1 to 1.5 years, send it back for servicing. If you continue to do it, right, the system has sensors. If the system discover there's a leak of over usage, they will just stop running. It will keep on blinking, and then you cannot use the machine anymore. You have to send it back to service. So the Model 5 has sensors built in, which will stop you from using it or overusing it, that you have to send it back for servicing. So normally 1 to 1.5 years is very safe. Some people have stretched it to 2 years if the usage is too low. But if ever there's a leak, the system will sense it.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And to Eileen, yes, you can use a bigger
Mm,
glass than what was supplied. You can use other containers of water other than
mm,
the small bottles provided. And Alan, like all questions regarding the procedures of maintenance, where to send it back, etc. Customer service will be the right people to help you. They have the accurate details and they would be able to sort you out with that. It is getting close to almost a couple hours of the meeting. Maybe we'll take one more question here from Beth. Is it okay for a diabetic patient with internal eye bleeding or any other like issues like this? I think we do have a lot of questions of people with like extreme conditions, and they're asking us if this is suitable for a specific condition, or maybe you can give like a general answer about that.
mm. Actually, like I said, right, oxygen promotes healing. If there isn't oxygen, there is no healing. Even stopping the bleeding, right? Bleeding, you need oxygen to stop the bleeding. So we have shown you the experiment where when you drink it, it enters the tissue. Oxygen enters the tissue. But again, always check with your doctor and remember that OxyTap is a supplement and it's not chemical based. Some people see the result almost immediately. Some people takes few months to see the result. So it really depends biologically based on individual, right? So bleeding, all this, especially blood related, right? Uh, Oxygen is always very critical. Yeah.
Okay. Understood. And I think with that, I think we can draw this Zoom call to a close. Zoom and Facebook. So hi again to everyone tuning in live on Facebook. We will be doing a lot of calls like this every so often. So please do tune in very often to get all kinds of different information that we are more than happy to provide to you from Facebook, sorry, from Prive International. On behalf of Prive, thank you a lot to Mr. Wilson Tan. Ever since Prive started working hand in hand with Mr. Wilson and the OxyTap, we have seen a huge increase in the people who we have been able to directly help by supplementing their oxygen intake via the OxyTap. As a product, the device has found global acceptance and is currently one of our fastest moving markets in a lot of our global markets. So one of our fastest moving products in our global markets. Everyone around the world loves the ease and power of the single tap, double tap, and triple tap, oxygenating your water for your health. So if you're interested in finding out more about the testimonials, etc. Please don't forget that we have like long extended recordings of Mr. Wilson walking us through all of these on YouTube. Just Google for OxyTap or OxyTap Prive. And to everyone else who's listening in, and if you're curious on how you can get an OxyTap of your own and just be at the forefront of this wellness revolution in terms of supplementing your body with oxygen, do talk to the people who sent you this link. The person who sent you this link is also the right person to help you get an OxyTap of your own. And if you're listening in, thinking of whether or not you should pick one up, allow me to urge you to actually go ahead and pick up an OxyTap, buy an OxyTap, keep it with you, and drink oxygenated water every single day until you can see the changes in your body, in your well-being, in how you're interacting with the world, just through the power of 1, 2, 3 taps on the OxyTap. So with that, thank you again, Mr. Wilson Tan, CEO of OxyTap.
Yeah.
Do you have any final
Just
thing to share? Go ahead.
yeah. I think we are launching this worldwide through Pride, and
Hmm.
if any of the country stockies members in your part of the world wants help, or someone to go down and share, there right now, our corporate affair director, Mr. Noor, is going on a world tour sharing on how OxyTap helps both in health as well as increasing your income. So everywhere he goes, the sale of OxyTech just explodes. So you can always request to corporate or through your stockist or partner how to get that done. If there's enough people, they can always run seminars, training for you in your respective countries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Nur Rashid, our corporate affairs director, he is doing on a global tour, fastest route to Crown Ambassador with the OxyTap. And we just did a program in Malaysia last weekend that ended up being attended by people from all over the world. So it's been very exciting with the OxyTap in Prive International. So thank you again, Mr. Wilson. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Any technical questions you have regarding the OxyTap and servicing and everything, feel free to shoot an email to customer service and we will sort you out as soon as possible. And with that, thank you to everybody. The host can end the meeting now. I hope all of you have a fantastic evening. Goodbye.